in transition. Get that out of here. Uses his body well, and that's great. Connects on long range. Good. Attacking the rim through the contact. Gets it to go, and that was a strong contest.
It is what we have been waiting for, the Open A's, the Under-19 finals. St. John's College versus Michaelhouse, coming at you live from Old Mutual Sports Hall from the St. John's College basketball tournament. Sitting in the chair next to me is Q. My name is Adam Zawada. Q, this is what we've been waiting for, this basketball. The first time St. John's has been in the final of the tournament they've hosted for 8 years.
I think it's been a surprise tournament. It's been an amazing tournament, and fitting that you have the hosts closing out the tournament with a chance to compete for the title in this Open A, as you said, Under-19 section.
These teams are absolutely balanced on some issues and vastly different on others. Tactics being one of them. Look at that crowd in the background. These teams are ready. This crowd is ready. I hope you hear it in my voice, because my heavens, Q, I'm ready.
I've been ready. This is the highlight of the day, the Under-19 boys final, and the Parktown boys band building the anticipation here.
I'm getting those goosebumps. It's exciting
Mutual
stuff.
Sports Hall, and you want to clap your hands, stomp your feet, and get ready, because these boys have worked hard to be here. 4 grueling days of basketball, and these are your top 2 teams. 24 competed, 2 remain.
And that is Michaelhouse making their way to the court. They know they have everything to play for, coming quite a bit of a distance to be here. This crowd is spectacular. This place is packed to the absolute rafters. There's also support staff, so many people watching it. This will most likely be a St. John's crowd, mainly obviously being based in Johannesburg. And of course, here comes St. John's leading the way onto the field. They are looking calm and collected. So did Michaelhouse. This is crazy, because I don't know how they can be calm in this scenario.
I think there's a lot of nerves, and maybe the exterior holds what the calm exterior holds a very feisty and nervous interior. You know, they say it's the calm before the storm. We're going to see a storm on the floor, and both these teams, I think Michaelhouse probably the favorites coming into this final, but St. John's have steadily worked to overcome. They beat St. Stithians in the semi-final, a very tightly contested semi-final, and they both play really great team basketball. Michaelhouse did it by getting past St. David's, Marisinanda, and these 2 teams now ready to compete for that all-coveted Under-19 title.
In the background, you can hear the band from Parktown boys making themselves heard. They have been an absolute wonderful addition. We have to see them next year. They've been playing as being sublime. They've added intensity, focus, and my heavens, do they just play well.
They also make you dance in your seat, which is a bit of a problem.
Playing a lot of hip-hop as well, Q. I know you're a fan.
I am an absolute fan. I love what they've done. They've managed to get the crowd engagement up. But I think the wonderful thing that I've noticed about the people here is that basketball has been the central focus. The other lifestyle attachments are great, but everybody appreciates the raw competition that we see on the floor.
At the end of the day, we have to talk about some of these players, and we know for a fact that JC Willowser for Michaelhouse is going to be a big player. Keegan Graham for St. John's, and then Ike Anagu. Anagu is a big number 10, a big number to watch. Also 11, the Morse for Michaelhouse. These are big, 11 for Michaelhouse is Bonella Sitole. He's a big player here. Also Ratibile Sekoto, also a big player. There are so many all-stars here, Q, where this must be impossible for you to pick at the moment.
You can't say big without using the name Simi Femi Kayode. He's a physically big player. He'll be on the floor as well, and he gets the start for Michaelhouse. Coaching is going to come into play. JC Willowser, you've mentioned. Every coach that I've had a chat to talks about JC Willowser as the #1 prospect in the country right now. They rate him as the top high school player, so there's a lot of pressure on his shoulders as he tries to lead this Michaelhouse team. St. John's College got it done in a different way. Their coach, vastly experienced Tabang Khwedi, has strategized his way into these finals, some would say, but there's been some really great, outstanding individual performances. standout player got to be number 13. Keegan Graham is spoken about in a favorable manner, and we'll look out for their ball movement, their ball rotation, and their heavy intensity on defense. Of course, in the group game earlier in the tournament, Michaelhouse were pipped by St. John's. They'll be looking to try and replicate that.
Look, at the end of the day, this is an exciting game, and we're almost here. This is, I don't know how to contain it. The crowd is on their feet. They are over the moon. Everyone is just excited to be here. Everything is going to be going down, Q. An absolute build-up. 4 days of basketball over 6 different courts, 56 teams throughout this whole tournament of St. John's Festival, and we're about to kick off here. The tip-up goes. Building, and it goes to Michaelhouse. KEEGAN won it, but it does go up. And the first big play of the day already going Michaelhouse's way, but St. John's will have the ball.
So St. John's wearing the white kit and Michaelhouse in the blue and the darker regalia.
So the main ball carrier and shooter, number 11, for St. John's, struggling a little bit on that shot there. It's okay, some heavy nerves on there. It happens to the best of it. Number 16, ESIPISU, a great player for Michaelhouse. Definitely a 9 to look out for. The main carrier for Michaelhouse, number 11, Sitole. We spoke about him earlier. Second, yeah, Sitole. Absolute great player there. So, Q, what do you think the tactics are going to be here?
It's going to be interesting. I know that St. John's like to start out in zone. They employ different tactics within their zone. They'll trap. They certainly won't allow OELOFSTE any freedom, so they'll double team him every time he has the basketball. The adjustments must be made by Michaelhouse on the offensive end. It looks like Michaelhouse have gone into a zone as well, and if they've had a look at the way St. John's play, I'm not sure that their zone is the most effective one that I've seen throughout the tournament.
This is going to be interesting because St. John's have the big man, Anagu. He's a big, strong man. Demore drives, gives it to RENWICK. RENWICK doesn't get fouled. KEEGAN mops up for Michaelhouse. We've got the big Anagu for St. John's, and then KEEGAN for Michaelhouse. How are the big men going to battle it out? JAN-CLOETE, great presence of mind. First bucket of the day of this under-19 final, and Michaelhouse takes the lead 2-0.
Tough shot for OELOFSTE, going against 2 defenders and fading away from the rim, but he gets it to 4.
It was a great fadeaway, actually. Remember, it's all going to be about conversion at this rate. We know tactically these guys are sound. There's KEEGAN making himself felt. It's a big tap. He does it again. This time there is a foul on Michaelhouse. So St. John's gets a chance to get on the board.
One thing I did see a little bit of in that semi-final is that Keegan Graham is not scared to mix it up inside the paint, enjoys physicality, looks for the contact, and just an example of that as he gets himself to the free throw line.
Definitely a big pair of balls on him as he goes up and misses his first free throw. So St. John's is still not on the scoreboard. St. John's, you saw his frustration there. He needs to stay calm, old Keegan Graham here. He needs to be calm.
One wonders how much of a factor this hometown support is going to be, playing in front of friends and family for St. John's College. Like you mentioned, first time they've been to the final for 8 years, and they're finally on the board.
As Q said, straight on the board, being wonderful for them, and you heard the crowd going mad for it. Remember, Q, it's Quinton Denason with me in the chair, and my name is Adam Zawada. Follow us on social media. And there, Anagu, big steal, and then a bad pass. So it will be Michaelhouse's ball.
Stop time being employed throughout this entire final.
Oh, really?
That is really going to change the dynamic up.
Not as much rush. This game's going to feel maybe a little disjointed, maybe a little stilted, maybe a little longer. To KEEGAN, that's big RENWICK and Graham on him. And they do force the foul on KEEGAN. KEEGAN, remember last time Michaelhouse played, he drew a lot of fouls, but his shooting from the line was superb.
Well, they're going to look to him a lot to try and get Graham in a little bit of foul trouble, and they'll have plenty of time to do it.
No, definitely. So stop-start being employed throughout the whole game here. So it might feel a little disjointed. Number 11, Sitole for Michaelhouse, goes up, fades away, doesn't get away with it. So now St. John's can counter. Sanders supports the ball carrier for St. John's. Sprints around to RENWICK, then Graham. Graham gets a bit of room. KEEGAN gets on top of him, and the foul gets brought. KEEGAN cannot foul 5 times, otherwise he is out of here.
He is going to have his hands full in the paint. These bigs from St. John's like to mix it up.
We know that St. John's isn't going to be afraid to wear it. They will wear KEEGAN and push him. And with only Michaelhouse only having KEEGAN, it's going to be a problem. 11, Michaelhouse goes up, that's Sithole. Does it, pulls the trigger very well. Tamor wins that front ball there. St. John's, it's only a 2-1 game at the moment. It's been quite slow. Nothing really happening at the moment.
Similar to the shot clock, the players have got to recognize game situation. They don't have to rush through situations anymore. There's a lot more time. Stop time indicates that you can actually start to set and look at game situation and make different assessments. The coaches have got to perhaps call a timeout or just make sure the players are aware that it's stop time. They're still playing too quickly and too rushed.
Well, my one problem is that that doesn't allow for really try. Oh, what a turn by RENWICK, and he gets the foul. That was a great turn by RENWICK. Let's see if he can get some points. My only worry is that this doesn't allow for transitional basketball because it will be stilted and disjointed. It doesn't allow free play, free running, counter-attacking basketball. And I feel the team that can manage to get that right on a stop clock constantly will walk away with a few very important buckets.
Well, that kind of play comes from your defensive pressure. Defense has got to translate into transition, and so coaches are going to have to make some good decisions as well.
MATTEO RENWICK sends his first one and his second, and St. John's take the lead 3-2 at the moment. So this is anyone's game. Sithole happy to take his time, keeping an eye on the shot clock. Knows he only has 8 seconds to get across. Does that, 14 on the shot. Gets driven to the baseline, looks for KEEGAN, doesn't find him, goes back to Sithole. He's got time, Anagu shuts him down. Sithole still can't sink it. Have you noticed how fast Anagu is? He's a big, strong man, but he is fast. He moves quickly. He shut down Sithole at the shooting line very quickly.
Short, sharp movements. And another foul for the Michaelhouse big, Femi Kayode. And that might be a concern for his coach.
It's definitely something they have to keep an eye on. RENWICK goes up for a 3, almost gets it. He's feeling warm after his free throw. That's 2v2s. They've got to walk away with a point there. Fade away, fades away. UELOFSTE, then Sithole. Now RENWICK walks away from it. Needs to slow down. UELOFSTE needs to watch the body check.
Yep, call for double dribble. He just couldn't control the ball. And
too much pressure. He got body checked a little bit there.
Out of control. But hands possession right back to Michaelhouse.
This is about playing hard but remaining calm and controlled, Q. You cannot let your heart get the better of your head.
Neither can the nerves.
Yes, agreed. Goes to UELOFSTE. UELOFSTE back to Sithole. Sithole finds a gap. He's trying to drive past Anagu. Kumalo with the ball now. Finds Sithole. Sithole's got space to shoot. He goes for the 3. It's fine. I'm okay with that. He lets himself sit, so that's fine. Number 16, Richard ESIPISU brings it in. Now St. John's with a counter. Number 14 for St. John, and that's Bongwe, Susie Bongwe.
Lovely
Sazi
composure
Bongwe.
on the fast break. Inside out dribble to get by his defender. Looked up, made the decision, and got the 2.
Michaelhouse has to watch for that counter-attack on the long shots. Sithole seems keen to do that. Now Kumale, UELOFSTE looking for space, sets up the screen, and it fakes. Big drive through 1-2. Draws the foul. Very, very well played. Or was that an attacking foul? Should be 2.
That's going to be 2. Should go to the free throw line. Lovely read by Kwanele Kumalo. Gets in between the 2 defenders.
St. John's leading. The home ground advantage maybe telling a little bit. I think Michaelhouse has really struggled to find some routine. Kumalo did well to get that foul. Can he get the points?
These players have been playing running time throughout the entire tournament. It will take them a little bit of time to adapt and readjust to stop time. So we can account for that in the first 2 quarters. I think we'll see more settled play in the second half. What you don't want is that adjustment to cost you 10 or 12 points.
Ronaldo Kamele's Kumalo's first one, an air ball, not what he wanted. Now St. John's on the counter. Do they have numbers? It gets shut out. RENWICK walks away with the ball. Still St. John's. He goes up. Number 14 sinks it beautifully. Zazi Bongwe, that's 2 points and 4 points in 2 shots for him. He's cold and collected.
Lead quickly up to 5. And lovely play by Bongwe.
OELOFSTE finds Sithole. Sithole is finding a lot of space, but they're not able to penetrate this key. The big center man, Richard ESIPISU, gets a bit of space now, and that was superb. Oh, there was a push on a player, so those 2 points won't count. Well then,
Femi Coyote gets called for the foul. The 2 points could count. The referees will make the decision. The foul was off the ball.
2 points given.
And
so it is currently, that was a Michaelhouse point. So that should be up to 4. It should be 5-4 at the moment. 7-4.
Femi Coyote picks up his second foul. That puts Michaelhouse into the penalty now, and in stop time that could be big. They can't afford.
That's a big play. Just falls out the ring. Number 16 for St. John's is Ore. Oh, was that 16 or 18? I lost it. 16. Ore Gigile Sieso. Sithole finding space, loses it. Richard ESIPISU tries to bring it back. Whistle's blown. Kira, I don't know what's going through his mind. Both these coaches are heated at the moment. It's a tied game, 7-5. That shot proficiency, St. John's leading with less of a shot proficiency, but I feel they've gone up there. They've been in the opposition, the territory in their favor.
What that'll tell you is that there's a lot of defense being played on both ends. Low shot efficiency for both these teams, keeping it in the low teens. Coyote can't hold on, and pressure starting. Pressure starting to tell.
Timeout called, the first timeout of the game. So here we go. So we've got some engagement, which is great. Sibonelo Kanyile, red, white, #house. We know he's going to be supporting there. Tian Bester, bring it home, St. John's. We are loving the support. Ryan Vulvaart, the Let's Go House. So obviously quite a bit of Michaelhouse support online. Azania Mashigu, same thing. Obviously Michaelhouse in the inland of the country, they won't have as many hometown support. So St. John's will be feeling comfortable. But it's not like Michaelhouse is struggling with their support.
They're not struggling at all, but they would have liked to start out a little bit better. It's been disjointed, as you said, and not by their fault. It's just the fact that the running time switch to stop time has affected both these teams, and we're not seeing the fluidity you expect from teams in a final. Nerves still play a part as well. Hometown support plays a part, but the crowd is here. It's a vibe, and the players will start to loosen up as the game develops. Like I said, you just hope that it doesn't cost either team 10 or 12 points, because you want to see a competitive final.
No, definitely. There's about 2 minutes, 20 seconds left of this first quarter. And you can see the fans absolutely loving the band in those last few shots. 7-4. It's only a one-possession game at the moment, though, Q, and it could go anyone's way. I feel it's going to be about who can string a phase of getting buckets.
That's all basketball is, a game of peaks and troughs and how well you handle the runs.
And Nagu, big pressure, doesn't get away with it. Whistle doesn't go. Big pressure from St. John's, high, does draw the foul, Sithole. Nagu has to be careful as well. I like that they can play a Nagu as a postman and then also as a fast short man runner, because he's got the speed and ball speed and hands for it.
Versatility counts in the modern game of basketball.
There's been some subs. Number 9, Stuart Omont is on for St. John's. Sithole, top of the key, gives it to OELOFSTE. OELOFSTE to Sithole. Now it goes to ESIPISU. Now they find Coyote. Coyote up, throws it a little heavy. And St. John's walk away with it. It's been stolen by OELOFSTE. It is their ball. They do get the call.
Bought the call there, did OELOFSTE, but strong work putting his hand in the passing lane. Throws it
stolen by Nagu. He should be getting space. A Nagu foul, gets fouled, and he sinks the end one. That's silly by Sithole. He's better than that. Michaelhouse is not sticking to their basics. They are making silly errors, Q.
Started with the out-of-bounds pass from OELOFSTE. Handed it to Nagu, and defense have got to make a choice. If you foul, you've got to foul hard and not give him an opportunity for the and one. It sends Nagu to the line.
And in a final, there can't be any half measures whatsoever. Ike Nagu comes up to make it 3 from 2. Can he do it? Looks good. Big bounce, and it bounces out. Unlucky. So it is another foul, a pushing foul, so it will be Michaelhouse's ball. Michaelhouse needs to try keep this deficit close at the moment. You can't let a team run away from you. We saw it in the under-15 finals between Lesotho, how they ran away from Heidelberg.
Seiso picks up the first foul, and it's sends St. John's into the penalty as well.
Kumale, 1-2, does beautifully, drags 2, and OELOFSTE trying to pull it in, doesn't quite get it right. Kumale, Kwanele Kumalo, apologies, number 13 for Michaelhouse, has played a very understated but a very big role at the moment.
He's been aggressive, and you want that. You need a primary aggressor. They're taking away the option of getting their primary scorer or their primary ball handler the basketball. St. John's have done a good job of that. You expect other players to then shoulder responsibility, and Kumalo has stepped up so far.
Finally, Kumalo busy looking at his own hand. He's finally sunk one. He was getting in his own head. Hopefully he's broken whatever juju he might be worried about, and he can sink a few more. Another timeout call. This game is going to feel like it's dragging. That's the stop-start, lots of timeouts.
This is authentic basketball played the right way, and really am a fan of the tactics and the care that must be taken. The runs play a more significant role. Timeouts can stop momentum, and the coaches will be well aware of that. Foul count on both these teams is going to play a role as we get deeper into the game. 1:21 remaining. Michaelhouse have only scored 4 points. St. John's have been the aggressors, and you expect that. OELOFSTE here, the single field goal that we've seen, the rest of it coming from the free throw line. And that was Graham earlier on for St. John's.
It's quite interesting though, because I feel tactical timeouts now are going to play a big role in ruining momentum. Momentum is hard to get, and a timeout can ruin it. So this is going to be about maturity of mind to walk away from something, because it's only a 4-point game, so 2-possession game at the moment in St. John's favor. And they do have the ball, so they can maybe put this into 6 points.
And this is a traditional KZN Gauteng derby, and there's a lot of pride on the line. Speaking of on the line, that's out of bounds.
It's Stuart Omand. He was standing on the line as he received. It's tough out here. There's a lot of colors on the court.
Multiple lines, because there's a multi-purpose court, so players sometimes caught unawares.
Kumalo doing great, tries to find Coyote, and Nagu says nope, this is my house, no one is getting in here currently. Now Oman can drag the ball back. He does it for St. John's, back to Nagu. Number 4 for St. John's, Connor Kilborn on the court. Gives it back to Kilborn. Finds number 16, that's Sieso. 14, Bongwe goes up. That's a clean take by Coyote, and no foul. Lots more of that. Michaelhouse on the counter, does beautifully. Number 13, Kumalo drags the foul, does well, but no and one bucket. He knows he needs to start putting the ball in the bottom of the net.
Coyote is such a presence in the paint. He's a menace with that length, and gets his hands up at just the right time. Does just enough to either disturb the shot or pick up a block, and that's how Michaelhouse get a chance in transition.
Kumalo needs to clear his mind at the moment. He's in his own head too much. The pressure's building to him. Too many free throws being missed by Michaelhouse. They need to close this gap. There's only 34 seconds left. That's a bit better. Gave it more of a chance. His frustration still very apparent. Now it goes to number 14. Number 4. Sorry, that's Connor Kilborn. St. John spreading it to the key. They give it to Sieso. Sieso goes up, gets a big 2 points. St. John's 6-point lead at the moment.
You can even feel the relief from the crowd here, hometown, as they finally get a score against the big body Coyote in the paint.
Every basket St. John's makes now, without Michaelhouse returning the favor, is relieving pressure. Well, also with a bit of time management there, seeing there wasn't much time on the clock, and deciding, if not, go big or go home in a final. 6-point difference, Q, 11-5. What do we think from the first quarter?
Exactly what should happen in a final of this nature. It's going to be tightly contested, both teams still feeling each other out. I don't think we saw too much other than St. John's trying to figure out how to break down Coyote in the paint. For Michaelhouse, it's been stop-start, disjointed. They have not figured out how to rotate against the zone. OELOFSTE has seen too little of the basketball as far as I'm concerned. You got to have your primary ball handler and your star scorer getting a little bit more touches. St. John's have done a great job in terms of that defensively. For Michaelhouse, they have got to figure out where else the scoring is going to come from, because they've looked out of ideas. They've done a good job in adapting defensively. What do they do now?
St. John's are doing very well at the moment in front of hometown support before the second quarter kicks off. The score 11-5 currently. Watching from Somalia, Kekeli Enai doing well, supporting St. John's all the way from China. I bet you that person teaches English. I hope, please get back safe, Smurf ET. We know China's a bit of a problem at the moment.
That was my thought, exactly.
St. John's 11-5 leading in front of home support. This is brought to you by School Sports Live, bringing it live to your screens. Tell your friends, tell your family, and engage with us. We are right back in the action at the moment. Sithole for Michaelhouse. Winding down the clock, looking for OELOFSTE. OELOFSTE getting space for a three, and gets nothing but net. That was class, Q.
Gotta get your primary scorer touches of the ball. That's the first clean look he's had since the first possession, and he's shown his value.
Now it's an 11-8. That's a 3-point, so 1 possession difference. St. John spreading it around. Drives the baseline, gives it to Graham. Graham gives it to Anagu. Anagu spreads it. Big three. Oh, and St. John's responds in kind. This is the type of ball you want to see. Keep the intensity high. You can do it, we can do it better. Big 3 points there.
Great shot selection. Time use off their possession, and just a lovely shot.
No, superb. Sithole spreads to OELOFSTE. OELOFSTE wants to drive, fakes it. Gets a hand onto it, doesn't get the end one. Foul called, so he should get 2 shots though here, so they can close the deficit out. Michaelhouse, this is a tight game, and I am thoroughly enjoying it.
Very tight game. Still plenty of basketball to be played. OELOFSTE at the free throw line. Michaelhouse have trailed throughout, and want a couple of key possessions, just so that key defensive possessions, so they can get back in it. OELOFSTE misses both.
This should be quite interesting. It's not like OELOFSTE to miss that. They need to close this deficit. 6 points down at the moment. We got Kumalo with the ball at the baseline for Michaelhouse. Goes deep to Sithole. Sithole controls it. Take your time. There's 9 seconds on the shot clock. This is going to be interesting. He sees it. Is he going to go up for the shot? Goes to Kumalo. Tries to drag. There was confusion on the defense. Kumalo feeling the shot, but not there. And who's that? Number 14 for Michaelhouse. DOMINIC SUEUR getting involved. He also has a big role to play for Michaelhouse to make sure that Coyote doesn't get boxed out. And your 3-point stats are up. So Michaelhouse has attempted more, 1 from 4. And that's okay, 25%. St. John's 1 from 3, marginally better. I do think we'll see some more though, Q.
With limited use of the 3-point shot by both these teams, so I don't expect it to change too much more unless they try and extend their zones. It's been good reads by the offense, and players have generally made the right decision.
The shot clock was winding down on Zander Temors, number 11 from St. John, so he threw in hope. Then OELOFSTE came in, and he somehow managed to pull another defensive foul. He is worth his weight in goal at the moment, just through fouls, and they are building on St. John's side. They're going to get free throws just from team fouls.
They sure will if they continue at this rate.
Sithole spreads to OELOFSTE, finds the space for 3, and he bangs it. If there is a time to be hot, this is the game to feel it.
I'm going to say it one more time. Your primary scorer needs to touch the basketball.
But my heavens, nothing but net the way he's sinking them at the moment.
Lovely.
If he can hit that consistently.
Lovely form, elevates high, releases the ball well.
Another 3 from St. John's. Who is that? We don't have his number, so we need to try to find out who that is. A number 4 from St. John's. He's sunk 2 for them at the moment. So OELOFSTE now needs to make a plan here. He knows there's a big hand on him. He throws it out to ESIPISU. I think that's Richard ESIPISU, number 16. Does well, sinks 2. This game is going from one hand to the other. Everyone scoring buckets is preventing any one side from getting momentum.
Every time there's a big score, a big play by Michaelhouse, St. John's have a reply. They are going nowhere.
Graham throws it back out to Bongwe. Bongwe throws it to Temors. And Temors sings it. That's only 2 though. They'll take 2 points. It doesn't matter. Puts it 20-13. Michaelhouse need to try cut this game lead down. 7 points. If there's a bad run, and St. John's could run away.
Zander Temors, lovely baseline jumper, arced it high. Nothing but net.
And St. John's has been very quiet. Nagu for St. John's has been very quiet at the moment. So that hasn't been great at the moment. They need to get a Nagu more in the game, especially if KEEGAN is off.
Bongwe heads to the bench, and on comes RENWICK back in.
So
for
RENWICK
St. John's
back in, yeah. So St. John's currently leading a 19-13, ladies and gentlemen. This game is close. Temors decides the three. Bit of an air ball there. It wasn't a bad depth, just the line was wrong. But they get the defensive foul. Now they have the chance of two.
I really like that shot by Temors. The zone from Michaelhouse sitting back and waiting for them to try and make some moves and waiting for that first pass. All he did was let him know, if you don't come up, I'm going to take that shot every time.
So Graham goes up, doesn't sink it. He knows he needs to try sink that to build a lead here. It's only 7 points. Michaelhouse so far doing well to remain close, within distance. Graham for his second. This ball will be live. And Michaelhouse, Richard ESIPISU, he plays an understated game, but he's a big, big player for Michaelhouse.
Good to see him working on the boards.
Wolofse's running off the ball is superb. He's leaving a Nagu behind. Grabs Sithole. Sithole's got space for the shot. Do you see how he pulled 3 players in? And if Sithole had the better shooter, that basket won't count. There's the offensive foul on Richard ESIPISU.
I don't like that call by the referee, because that is underneath the rim in the no-charge zone. Should actually just have allowed the contact and let the play continue.
Well, Q, no team after a bit of a flurry of points have scored for a few minutes now. Zander Temors for St. John's gives it to RENWICK. RENWICK gives it out to Malgas. Malgas to Graham, goes back out looking for a 3, too much pressure. Gives it to RENWICK. RENWICK has space for a shot. Bad bounce. Olofse does well. This time Sithole. Sithole needs to look up. There's a foul on Sithole by RENWICK. Q, it is nail-biting stuff.
It's poised on a knife edge. There's little between these two teams, and it is literally 2 possessions or 1 possession that can change the outcome of this game.
I'm so engaged and engrossed in the game, I'm almost forgetting to talk. 10 goes up. Oh, that was in and out. Unlucky, Mr. Jason Makele. He played very well in the quarterfinals and semifinals. I'm surprised we're only seeing Makele now. He was a big, big player for Michaelhouse. RENWICK goes up for the 3. Not there. Now Olofse gives it to D. Makele was open. That's what they need to control. They need to walk away with that and make sure.
Really should have done better with that pass. There's a little bit of pressure. There was nothing else there. Could have lobbed it, try to put too much on it, and that call from a little bit earlier, shoulder was dipped, but gotta understand that's the no charge zone. Gotta compete in that area.
No, seconded. Temors spreads it wide of the key, gives it to RENWICK. RENWICK goes to Malgas. Malgas goes across, intercepted by DOMINIC SUEUR. Now it goes to Makala. He grabs it and he end ones it. That's what we're talking about. That's what Makele can do, and he did it again.
Strong take, got his body into the center of the defender's chest, took it up and got the finish.
Jason Makele is a big, big player for Michaelhouse. I'm very surprised to only see him pop up in the second quarter. But as he comes on the field, he immediately made himself felt.
Chance to make it a 1-possession game.
Bang, bang. Now it's 19-16. St. John's have lost a bit of momentum. But can Michaelhouse capitalize? Because it's not just about that first bucket. It's about forcing the second and third.
5 of 17, it is for St. John's. They're getting more shots. They just not able to. But sometimes that has also got to do with second chance opportunities. Means they're getting second and third looks at it.
DOMINIC SUEUR does well to keep that in. Does give away possession though. Malgas gives it to RENWICK. RENWICK fakes it. That will be an attacking foul. Was that an attacking foul? It should be.
The referees are going to confer to find out if that happened before the shot clock went off, or are they going to call the defensive foul?
Between me and you, the buzzer went after he was in the air, but I'm not sure if he was over him in time. They
ruled that shot clock violation occurred first, so I think they got it right.
Michaelhouse gets a bit of a breather. 19-16, 1-possession game. Sithole getting pressured high. Goes to Makele. Makele finds SUEUR. SUEUR finds space and finishes beautifully. You can't allow your man inside, Anagu.
I love the way they broke the zone down on that particular possession.
That is how you cut through that zone. Agreed to you. That was superb. Now St. John spreading it wide and looking for Zander. No, it goes to Renwick. Renwick drives. Clean tackle. It's going to be a fumble. Goes to Michaelhouse. Finds Anagu. Anagu finds his first bit of space. Doesn't sink it. And now there's a defensive foul on Michaelhouse.
50-50 call. They were both competing for the rebound.
I think he played him in the air though. He changed his body line. That's why.
One went up straight, and actually the offending player was coming in. So I think interpretation is such a tough thing. And that's what it's all about, sportsmanship. That's a moment, a special moment. As much as this competition happening, you have to appreciate the fact that, we're here to compete freely and fairly. 1 point game it is. A timeout again called
it is
on the floor.
Hyper tough. We are absolutely loving the engagement all the way from Kenya, JAN-CLOETE, and also Angola. Lovely to see basketball in Africa being supported. Now also internationally from Vancouver to Shaba. What's the time in Vancouver at the moment?
I don't have that on hand.
New Jersey. Bongiwe Bongwe. St. John's and Michaelhouse well represented all the way from the States as well internationally. It's good to see basketball so well represented. I'll say it once, I'll say it again, especially when the game is this damn tight.
More than school pride on the line as both these teams now start to settle into their patterns. We're going to see a lot more from Michaelhouse, who finally have found a way to get some touches to OELOFSTE. He's not the key to everything, but the more touches you get, the more likely you're going to get a good high percentage shot outcome.
St. John's with the ball in the opposing key. Anagu gets some space, gives it to Demore. Demore spreads it around. There's been a couple changes. He goes up for a shot. Oh, he goes over. So now Michaelhouse can counter. They do that. What a ball from Sitole, and Makele makes no mistake. One pass across the court, Q.
Easy transition bucket.
And now Michaelhouse take the lead for the first time in the game. St. John's cannot lose momentum here. Stolen by OELOFSTE. Their big lanky man drives it, finds Sitole. Oh, and there's a foul, so they'll take two from it. So they're still going to get a shot or just an inbound throw?
Should be shooting. He was in the act of
going to I didn't see the two though, so it might be an inbound throw. Yeah, inbound throw. Oh, no, technical.
Ruled unsportsmanlike, so we will have Banele Sitole at the free throw line. A chance now for Michaelhouse to extend their lead.
He misses his chance. He gets another go at it though.
They will of course keep possession after these two shots.
That's going to be hurtful, because if they can still walk away with a basket, they're in business. Sitole needs to make sure it's these free throws that are costing both sides at the moment. So there's some subs happening for St. John's. They're changing up their tactics. Number 5 for St. John's, Connor Kilborn coming in. He had a big impact on the quarterfinal. And number 6, TJ Sitsole. 12, we've got Paneshe Dumbu. I don't think that's right. I don't think that name suits that color. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, just about a minute left. St. John's will kick off play. That goes to Sitole. Sitole looks like him and Kilborn will be the main ball carriers for St. John's for the next minute or so. Goes to 14. Bongwe is on. Kilborn to Sitole. Now looking for Anagu. Anagu's being kept very quiet. Goes to Bongwe. Bongwe finds Sitole. He's going to look for Kilborn. Shot clock winding down. 4 seconds. Make that 3. Sitole knows there's pressure. Kilborn's got space. He goes up. And it's an air ball. So now Michaelhouse can counter. They're struggling to penetrate that zone.
Nothing wrong with the shot selection. It was wide open jumper late in the shot clock. Should have done a little bit better.
Sitole drives, drags the foul. It's a defensive foul, so 2 more shots. He didn't sink his 2 previous, so he needs to make sure this goes through.
The free throw line is starting to become relevant for Michaelhouse. They're getting plenty of opportunity there. They've just not been able to convert at a high percentage.
It's always been a game of percentages. Any team in the final that's won a medal will always tell you it's about those percentages. Sitole makes no mistakes this time though. Turns it into a 2-point game. Sithole gets another chance to take a 3-point lead. Doesn't get it, and Nagu rebounds beautifully. I must admit, whilst Nagu's been quiet on offense, superb on D.
He's playing his role at this point. I'm sure if they need him on the offensive end, they'll get him a couple more touches just so that he can express himself, but doing all the dirty work, and that doesn't always show up on the stat sheet.
Bongwe will be the big shooter at the moment, finds Sithole. Sithole finds Dambu. Dambu goes up. They are struggling with the shot clock at the moment. They really are. They're struggling to get into that zone of Michaelhouse. Michaelhouse's zone, I feel, has tightened up a little bit, and it shows.
Moving the ball a little bit quicker, shifting the sides, getting that zone moving will
Also
expose
reading
gaps.
the clock, and he has a shot with 3 seconds left. St. John's will take their time. You were saying, Q.
It's the end of the quarter and the end of the first half. And what I was talking about is St. John's breakdown of the zone might be taking a bit long because they're taking a while to shift the zone. Once it moves from one end to the other, you've got to look to penetrate the seams, get in, and then you'll find shot opportunities. At halftime, though, it is
21 of Michaelhouse, St. John's College 19. This is going down to the wire. Even if I had lotto money, I wouldn't know where to place it. Anagu has been solid on defense. There you see him scoring a good point there. We're still waiting for him to make himself known on the offensive side. That's a Quinele Kumalo getting really frustrated with the free throws. Coyote's been off for quite a while at the moment because St. John's did really well to make sure he picked up fouls very quickly.
Earlier in the tournament, he picked up a concussion and was used limitedly by Michaelhouse. And I did see him grasping his chest a little bit earlier, but I'm sure he'll be back on because it's high stakes, it's do or die, it's the knockout stages of the tournament. This is the last game for the St. John's Basketball College tournament in 2020. He's got to be back on the floor.
No, absolutely. We have to see what can be done here. Half time, there's about a minute and a half left. So what is the approach going to be? I'm not sure at the moment because I have to admit it seems that Michaelhouse has the most momentum at the moment. St. John's looks a little flat the last 4 minutes. 3 minutes, rather 3, falls in the last. The last 3 minutes, St. John's seems a little flat for me.
I think Michaelhouse have the X factor because they have OELOFSTE who can turn a game on its head with just 2 or 3 possessions, where St. John's, you have to search a little bit deeper in their bench and the ball has got to move a couple more times. So let's have a look at what the stats are saying.
Some of these stats are superb. I mean, the 2-point throws at the moment, 2-point shots, Michaelhouse 6 from 17. A better percentage with less shots to St. John's 5 from 21. That shot efficiency is not good enough at the moment. 3-pointer, 2 from 10 and 2 from 7. Michaelhouse, not great there. But the free throws, right there, Q.
That's exactly what I wanted to point out, is that discrepancy. Those 10 missed free throws can haunt any coaching staff. When you come back and look at the score, so that's 10 points that you've given up, 10 points that should have been yours. The assist numbers the same. St. John's won't be pleased that they're fouling with a higher frequency. But the key stat, I think, for me, right now, that 3 for 13 from the free throw line, we must mention that iSports Analysis have supplied us these statistics. The analyst says, capture, code, analyze, and feedback.
Absolutely amazing. I love the stats because it shows us our all-round game. I agree with the fouls. The steals by St. John's, they will be happy with that they've got 1 or 2 more steals. The assists at the moment with the higher points from Michaelhouse, that makes sense. It's the shot percentage. It's at 30% to 25. And that's the main difference at the moment, is the fact that Michaelhouse's shot percentage is higher, and that's the only difference really in my mind at the moment. There's no other difference separating these teams in possession or territory, apart from free throws.
Free throw stat, like I said, might haunt Michaelhouse's coaching staff. The rest of it is all in gameplay. It shows that there's a lot of parity between the two teams. They're both doing enough on the defensive end, contesting, making it difficult. And we are back. Second half action. Michaelhouse holding on to a slender 2-point lead.
St. John's decides to drive. That's 14. Bongwe. Oh, if that sunk, that would have been very good. Who's that? Number 9 for, that's Joshua Stevenson for Michaelhouse, doing the defensive rebound with Dominic SUEUR. So Michaelhouse being very careful with their substitutions, I feel.
Limited rotation will be utilized by both coaches. And now Coach Tabankwedi for St. John's, throwing a 1-3-1 at Michaelhouse to see what they do.
I like that Michaelhouse has kept Makele on the field. Sithole goes up. That's a great bucket. That is a great bucket by Michaelhouse. Let's not forget, you can hear in the crowd, they're supported here as well. So, I like that they kept Makele on. Sithole doing his graft at the moment. This turns it into a 4-point game at the moment. St. John's needs to break their current drought. It's been a long time since they've scored any points. Anago almost loses possession, somehow recovers, has a player open, a bit of a fumble, goes up. But big man, number 12, Panashe Dumbe for St. John's.
That handle, keeping onto that ball, that was big by Anago, had to control it, and good pass.
Joshua Stevenson finds OELOFSTE. OELOFSTE looks, finds Makele out on the 3 on the bank, goes too deep. It's good rebounding by Stevenson again, no foul call. Now they can push. Sithole the ball carrier. He's got numbers. He decides to drive. Goes up. Bang. After drawing a foul. That was crisscross applesauce. Absolutely spectacular.
Love his recognition of the situation. Utilized his body well. TJ Sithole. Scoop. Layup. Count it. And now a chance for the and one.
He's not a big man. He pulled 1, pulled 2, and then went up. Let's see if he can bring a 3rd point down to turn this into a 1-point game. Goes up. Funny bounce. Anago does well. Wins it from Stevenson. Oh, no. It is a Michaelhouse ball.
There's a jump ball and possession stays with Michaelhouse.
So Sithole bringing it up. It is a close game. 23-23 at the moment. Sithole spreads it to Makele. I like that they've kept Makele. OELOFSTE with a bit of space for a 3. He's changing his position. Now Sithole goes up for 3. I like that Michaelhouse isn't afraid to throw. I'm appreciating their ability because they're finding the space and then on top of that making sure that they're set. It's always got a chance.
All good shots. There's no pressure on them. Your 3-point shooters are wide open and you've got rebounders in position underneath the rim.
And immediately St. John's makes some changes. I think they immediately want to try to shut those 3s down. Because if you sink a quick flurry of 3s, that's 9 points, 6 points. That's immediately a bigger lead than what you've been defending for half the game.
What it is Coach Tabankwedi is changing up his defense. He tried 1-3-1 for a second. It was providing way too many open shots and now switched it right back to their preferred 2-3 zone.
All tied up, 23-23. We're in the 3rd quarter, ladies and gentlemen, in this final between St. John's and Michaelhouse. Makele loses possession. Now Kilborn, there was a shirt pull on it, so they're going to pull it back. I believe that's Kilborn. So Kilborn was fouled by Makele, sorry. He is subbed off for number 8 of St. John's. That's Malgas will come back on. I feel Kilborn had a good game though. I feel he's been doing well.
Certainly felt his presence on the floor when he was there, and that's all you can ask.
They've moved Anago back to the center and immediately Coyote comes back on for Michaelhouse. So Tamors looks for Anago. The absolute, I think all the steals of Michaelhouse have been OELOFSTE.
OELOFSTE read that well. The pass was certainly on, but he was aware and that outstretched hand timely.
He is, first off, he's not a short man, he's quite tall. And he's deceptively times his jumps very high. He gets up above the big men.
And maybe an area of his game that people don't appreciate, the work that he does on the defensive end.
No, definitely. They keep thinking as an attacker, but he does beautifully as the defender as well. It's where, same with Anago. I was expecting more from Anago offensively, but he has been superb on defense.
Well, Coyote back in. This might be a big change for Michaelhouse. Might open up some things for them.
OELOFSTE to Sithole. Sithole deciding to go for the 3. Like I said, I back the fact that they're going for it. Malgas cleans up, gives it to Tamors.
Sometimes there can be a thing like shooting too much. They have put up 4 threes in the last little bit. They might want to look at a different option, but for now it's not hurting them at all.
Graham's tried to find Anago. OELOFSTE fumbles the ball. Michaelhouse, Sithole still has it. He finds Makele, makes no mistake, and that's 2 points, Michaelhouse. That was really scrappy getting there, but Michaelhouse making sure to get the 2 points is what's important to take away.
They had the numbers. OELOFSTE lost the handle, but they still came away with the 2 points.
That originally started with Anago on offense losing the ball. Malgas to Anago, Anago to Bongwe. Bongwe drives, goes up. Coyote making himself large. Graham rebounds. beautifully and make sure to get the defensive foul, allowing him 2 shots.
Coyote's arm in there will do enough to disrupt any shooting motion and change the shot of any offensive player. So his presence in the paint needed for Michaelhouse.
Some more subs. Kwanele Kumalo comes on and Richard ESIPISU comes on for Michaelhouse. Graham goes up for his shot. Got to use the backboard or put it in clean. Can't be in between. Hey, that rhymed. I honestly did that accidentally. I must apologize. Hence the surprise that it rhymed. Graham needs to make sure here. There's just going to be a quick mop on the floor. Make sure none of these players hurt themselves.
Some applause from the crowd. Sarcastic. Keegan Graham, though, maybe will appreciate that breather. Just
get his head straight. Try and reset. He knows he has to. Oh, that's going to build the pressure. Because he missed the first one. Can he put it within 1 point?
There's tension in the crowd as well.
And it's an air ball. This pressure is on these players. He wanted to go clean, but his line was off. So it's still a 2-point game. St. John's will be ruining missed opportunities.
Both these teams have ultimately struggled from the charity stripe, and they look to try and improve. Not much you can do on the day. Just got to hope that your players make the shots as they get given the opportunity.
Some more. Brings it up for St. John's after Michaelhouse failed to convert. Gives it to Bongwe. Bongwe finds a Nagu, Malgas. Malgas goes into Graham. Graham puts and rolls. And that's clean by Kayade. To Morse, finds a Nagu's too much. Bongwe, that gets dispossessed. Now it's Kumalo, finds Willemse, should find another. He does drag the foul though, so he should be able to take 2 points at it. I don't know why he didn't go to Makele though. It looked like he wanted to dunk that.
Willemse had every intention to dunk that. There was no pass in their body language, and that was well read by the defender. I prefer that sort of aggression from the offensive player. Not the wrong option. Was going...
And Williams is not going to miss those.
Was going for the highlight show, but that also gives a little bit of momentum to your team. Gives them extra confidence.
Pass on your sleeve, absolutely. Williamson goes up for his second, makes it 2 from 2, nothing but net. That's what's going to be the differences at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen. You saw the free throw stat up there. Immediately, Michaelhouse jumps up to 5, increasing their percentage immeasurably. To Morse, to Bongwe, now a Nagu. What can St. John's do? Tries to find a Malgas, finds a Nagu from Graham. Double pump fake and almost goes in for the N1. Anagu does get the foul though, so he does well nonetheless. That bucket would have helped though.
It certainly would have, and spun painstakingly in and out.
In and out, tough life. Yeah, those are the worst. That's always going to kill me. Anagu showing himself more on offense. We like to see that though, Q.
Whatever gives us the best outcome in terms of a competitive basketball game, we are for. Both these teams have been going at it.
Anagu goes up, uses the backboard. We said it when Graham was shooting earlier. Either use the board or go clean like Willemse did, but you can't go in between.
I find backboard going glass a lot tougher. Anagu prefers it, and it's a method that clearly works for him.
Oh, not coming right that time. Good rebound by Richard ESIPISU. And Nagu doing some good work himself. That was absolutely superb. He did the rebound work himself. He went up through the foul and N1's it with a late right fadeaway. Hook of the finger, and they'll take 2 points.
You called for it, and Nagu has answered. There's fire in his belly. Chased down, throws it up through contact, and now a chance to tie the game.
That makes it a 1 point game with a shot in the bank at the moment. And Nagu, from my words to his mouth, he goes up. Not there. The big rebound by Olofsson. So still a 1 point game. Michaelhouse, who feels like a bit of a momentum turn at the moment. Is it enough though? Michaelhouse needs to try and get a bucket. Puts Olofsson at the 3. Oh, very close. Gave it a chance. Bongwe comes away with it. To Morse. They want a fast break. They're too flat. Oh, body check by Makele. He's going to be fouled. Makele's got to be careful. He's been nominated a few times on the foul board.
Michaelhouse in the penalty. Should be 2 shots, and free throw line it will be. There's going to be a lot of this. These teams are both foul prone.
But I think it's actually the offense that's been running that's allowed the fouls to happen. But it's to Morse who's going to take it now. This is to tie it up. silence in the stadium.
I still can't get used to the silence of
Oh.
the free throw.
That's not silence after it gets through, Q.
Such a change in culture.
Yeah, because in the States, they try to distract you.
You should actually be speaking through it. It's not going to affect the shot itself.
Oh, yeah, I'm not worried. I just, it's because it's so tight that I'm feeling the pressure.
Tomorrow's
Tomorrow's 2 from 2.
Pressure, and he showed his calm under it. There's still plenty of possessions that remain, still plenty of time, but you like to see your players, when the pressure is there, they come through.
But St. John's take the lead now. Remember what I said literally 2 minutes ago about the pressure shift. Feels like St. John's has the momentum. Michaelhouse needs a bucket to change it, because now St. John's is going to take it. That's good by Khumalo, doing beautifully, and he comes back. That's how you ruin momentum. Return the favor in kind. Michaelhouse will take a point up and get a chance to make it 3. Cornele Khumalo struggling with his shooting in the beginning, but now being a real big player. What I like to see, Q, is the depth of the benches at the moment.
Also like to see how deep the coaches go in their rotation, because running time favors utilization of that deep bench. The stop time changes up that dynamic a little bit.
Bongwe fakes in and out. RENWICK decides to go for a 3, gets a hand on it. Not much in it. There's been some changes for Michaelhouse. Khumalo bringing it up. And of course, that also brings DOMINIC SUEUR onto the court. Gives it to Makele, gives it back to Khumalo, gives it to OELOFSTE. Khumalo taking his time, winding down the shot clock. There's only 7 seconds. They can't forget the 6 seconds. They do the screen. He double screen pump fakes it. 2, 1, goes up with a big fade. No basket, unfortunately. Graham does the cleanup. Tamors wants to counter quickly, looking for Bongwe. Drives himself.
Right option by Tamors. They had transition. Might have wanted to kick it out to a player waiting there, but forces OELOFSTE to contest, and OELOFSTE's outstretched arm
forces the foul.
Well, he really could have gone up straight and didn't need to directly contest.
Yeah, I think he should have pressured. He shouldn't have directly tried to tap that out of his hand. But Tamors now on the board, on the paint line for the free throw. He has been absolutely superb there. He's been putting it away. No questions asked. How's the culture shock treating you?
It really is too much for me right now.
I love that Tamors gives it such height. It gets higher than the top of the backboard and almost drops clean straight through.
Nothing wrong with the shooting form. Got a good release. Just has to get the right result.
To tie this up for St. John's. That's 2 missed by Tamors. That's not like him. OELOFSTE cleans up. 2 minutes left on the clock of the third quarter. This game is a nail biter. I love it. Khumalo looks for Makele, finds the space. Makele fakes RENWICK, goes up for a 2. Too much on it. Good by DOMINIC SUEUR. Gives it out to Khumalo. Khumalo goes up, doesn't get it. Nagu cleans up, finds Tamors. Tamors, a big ball carrier for St. John's at the moment.
And Nagu, a monster on the boards for St. John's.
Defensively, he has been superb. Coyote has been quiet this quarter, finds Nagu, and Nagu drops it. They retain possession. Looks for Tamors. It's been stolen by Makele and OELOFSTE. Now Khumalo's on his own. He goes up, almost a tap, but he does well. He landed funny on his ankle, though. There's a big ankle pain here. Big ankle pain here. And Nagu, no foul called, so it looked clean originally. But Khumalo did absolutely brilliantly to get those 2 points. Michaelhouse takes the lead. He did fall funny, though, so maybe a sore ankle there.
Looks like he's grasping his Achilles as well, and that's not good news for him at all. But won't make the prognosis or the diagnosis from up here. But you don't like to see a young man go to ground that hard. Grasped it immediately, and he looked like he was in a lot of pain.
No,
see if we can see from the
No,
replay.
the angle's wrong, but he definitely pulled up immediately as it happened.
Because there was nothing on the contact from the replay, and didn't look like there was any contact. That looks like it could be Achilles. I'm gonna just see, or maybe he hit his foot against the actual backboard.
I'm not sure. Nagu did really well to put as much pressure as he could, but Khumalo stuck to his basics, did what he needed to do. That now turns it into a 3-point game in Michaelhouse's favor. Q, let's do some engagement from the Mackenzie Day Room. I'm assuming that is from one of the schools watching, either Michaelhouse or St. John's. I'm loving watching a Michaelhouse. Q, what do you think about some of the support coming through at the moment?
I think it's been absolutely superb and amazing. It's all over. Do it for Kobe is the call. Kobe and Gianna. And you've seen the numbers on the St. John's actual tournament T-shirts paying tribute to the late Kobe Bryant. And Khumalo does not look like he's going to return. And that might be a big blow for Michaelhouse, might be a pivotal moment in the game.
Because he's been quite warm, he's been useful. That brings on Sithole, and now St. John spreads it, looks for Graham. They've lost possession, Makele wants to go. And a foul gets called. I thought they'd allow advantage on that because he didn't lose control. So St. John, Michaelhouse with the ball. 3-point lead at the moment. Sithole and Makele, they've worked well together. Finds OELOFSTE. OELOFSTE hasn't been getting much of the ball. An odd mistake from OELOFSTE, going too hard across the key, and Makele not able to rein it in. Kilborn on for St. John's. He goes to Bongwe. Bongwe looking for Anagu. No one home. He goes across to Anagu. Anagu able to drive. Went around Coyote. That was superb, Q.
Love the timing, the dip, and the touch of the backboard. That's just great offense capped off by Anagu.
Basketball is all about being hard when you have to, but being soft of touch. OELOFSTE pulls the trigger, not in it. Dominic SUEUR recovers it, and it is a foul. So Dominic SUEUR doing well and gets two free throws for Michaelhouse. 1-point game at the moment. Only 41 seconds on the game clock in the third quarter. Q, what do we think?
This is a high-risk defense being employed by St. John's. It's allowing for a lot of open free shots. They are also struggling on the contest for the rebound, but strangely, it has not resulted in anything obscene happening to the score line just yet. But I don't think this is something that Coach Tabankwedi can keep going. This 1-3-1 can't keep going the entire game.
Dominic SUEUR doing well, sinking both baskets, turning it into a 2-1 position game. 2 points different. Kilborn brings it up for St. John's. Gives it to Anagu. That was number 9, Stuart Omont. 4, Bongwe goes up. He goes 1-2, doesn't get there. Coyote wins it, or no, does Graham?
I think they're going to call jump ball, so possession will be with St. John's this time. Both players had their hands on the basketball. Referees happy to call it a jump.
Some real good basketball. We couldn't have asked for a better final. Anagu doing very well, pushing in. Offensive foul though. I like to see that ball speed though, that intent of trying to get into the key is positive.
Just the wrong time when the game clock and shot clock are almost aligned. Now hands Michaelhouse possibly should be the last possession of the quarter.
Sithole to OELOFSTE, goes across to Makele. Makele drives, Coyote screens, gives it to Sithole. He's drawn, he goes up, no fade. It's a big catch by Anagu. Now it goes to Oman. There's 4 seconds on the clock. He draws the foul beautifully.
Excellent
He
work.
stepped into OELOFSTE so well.
That was great awareness. Had no intent of really making the layup.
No, not at all.
Just wanted to draw the foul. Stepped in, drew the foul of OELOFSTE. OELOFSTE picks up his third.
If that had gone in though, my heavens, Q, that would have been superb. You can physically see him on the replay stepping back into it. Okay, Omar Stewart doesn't sink it though. He needs it to put both away to tie up the game. But he can go and turn it into a 1-point game. Ball will be live. Can they get a second chance in? Graham looks intense.
Only 3 seconds left on the game clock.
Coyote gets the rebound. They're going to take their time. OELOFSTE gets it. He releases. Dominic SUEUR goes up, but the clock had gone down. Michaelhouse showing some intent. That's the end of the third quarter. My heavens, how close has this been from quarter to quarter to quarter? I think the highest point deficit we've seen all day of this semi-final has been 4 or 5.
Probably been 5 points at one stage, but it's been tightly contested, and I think this is a great final for all of the fans who are here, everybody watching online. You want these games to be tight. You want the kids to be playing at the highest level, and it comes down to the final 8 minutes. decision-making, coaching, the role players, everything.
Absolute efficiency about converting the shots. You can see the shot percentage of St. John's a bit higher than Michaelhouse's, 28 to 26. I feel Michaelhouse has been getting a lot of territory this last quarter, and which has allowed them to throw a lot more shots up, which has resulted in a lower shot efficiency.
They might have taken a lot more shots, but they have missed a lot more as well. And if the rebounding stats were here, you'd see that St. John's have picked up a couple more rebounds. And if that trend continues, we might have a different outcome at the end of the fourth quarter.
Let's not forget, though, as well, that in the first quarter, that score was reversed. It was 30 to Michaelhouse, 25 to St. John's. And then now, Michaelhouse with a lower shooting percentage than St. John's.
Some of that has been the fact that Michaelhouse have settled for the outside shot and not made too many from downtown.
So, final quarter of this under-19 final between St. John's and Michaelhouse, coming at you live from the Old Mutual Wits Hall here at the University of Witwatersrand in Johannesburg. It has been an overcast, cloudy 2 days, but the basketball has been hot, hot, hot. Wolofse looking for Coyote. Nagu says, no, this is my house. Oman looking for runners, tries to find. Gilmore does exactly that. Big pickup by Graham, and no, it will be Michaelhouse's ball. No, turn of call, St. John's ball.
I thought it was St. John's ball because last touch coming off either Wolofse or Coyote underneath.
We have to bring up Anagu, how well Anagu has defended for St. John's. Tries to draw, Graham goes up, does draw the foul. So it might be either an inbound or two shots, but Anagu, that is Ike Inagu, number 10 for St. John's on defense, has made his defensive key his home. Because Coyote, the big man for St. John's, for Michaelhouse, has not been able to do the damages.
SUEUR picks up his third foul now as well for Michaelhouse. So they've got Olofsson on 3, Coyote on 3, and SUEUR on 3.
So Graham, an opportunity to bring this down. Doesn't do it. Dominic doing well for Michaelhouse. He's at 11, Sithole. He's got a bit of running to do, does it well, finds Makele. I like that Makele and Sithole working so well together. Makele, Sithole, Olofse. I like that Olofse's out. He tries to find Coyote. Does exactly that. Coyote explodes up, draws the foul, but doesn't get the end one. I'm busy looking at the bench and I can see Quinele Kumalo getting his ankle taped up at the moment. So I don't think he'll be able to make it back in. But if he does, he's a big, strong man to do so.
That tape clearly signifies the intention to come back in. But
you think so?
I really do think so. Coyote, though, at the free throw line. All of that play coming. That was a very good pass by Olofsson. Just waiting it enough for his big to have the opportunity to go and get it.
Only the one, but Makele works hard for the rebound and draws the foul, so they'll get an inbound. So Makele, I like that even the small men are constantly working for rebounds. Michaelhouse's rebounds have been superb. Apart from Anagu for St. John's, who is doing his best, but he is only one man against 5 at the moment on that rebound board.
They need him in the center to control the paint. He might not be contributing what you are used to offensively, as I've understood, but certainly is doing the dirty work on the inside, bodying up against that bigger bodied Coyote, and also picking up very important rebounds.
Wolofse finds Sithole. Sithole back to Wolofse. They'll find Makele. Makele, what's he going to do? They're swapping around the key. 4 seconds on the shot clock. Wolofse finds the space for Makele. Makele goes up, doesn't get it. Anagu throws the ball down. He gets another rebound. If we could get Anagu's defensive rebounds, it would be a shockingly high number. St. John's spreading it round, finds Kilboard, finds Graham. Graham fumbles. It should be Michaelhouse ball. That's what it is.
Pass forced in with 4 defenders just around him. Could have gone high post and looked for that re-entry, but that results in that turnover.
This pressure on defense, can we point out that it's not the highest scoring game ever, but the actual pressure of the game and strong defense. When last did we see a basket? Coyote with a free throw. Before that, it was about 2 minutes in the last quarter, and almost, what, a minute and a half now? Almost 3 minutes, 3.5 minutes without a bucket from both sides.
It's great for the coaches on the defensive end, but they need to do some work on the offensive sets. OELOFSTE.
It's a big drive by Sithole, drags the foul in, but doesn't get the and one. In the previous play by St. John's, Bongwe trying to find Kilbourne. Kilbourne ran to try and draw a player out the key, had his back turned, missed it, which resulted in an overthrow. St. John's cannot allow sloppy loss of possession.
Not at all. Basketball is gold, especially right now in the fourth.
Sithole goes up, makes no mistake. That makes it a 4-point game. Finally, a bit of points. Now it's a bit interesting because now it's 4. How does St. John's come back? But Nella Sithole has another throw at this to turn it into 5. KEEGAN goes up, doesn't get a second chance, but he bangs it away. Finally, a 2-point bucket cue.
That was huge. KEEGAN uses his size and that soft left hand of his, and it's a 2-possession game. This is the biggest lead we've seen since the first quarter.
And it's because St. John's have been boxed out of that cue. They're not getting anywhere. KEEGAN from scoring 2 points to defending 2. Clean tap.
One more time, he is a big presence in the paint. He's not allowing St. John's to just drive into the key uncontested.
I feel St. John's are going to start looking for threes to counteract this. Bongwe looks for Kilbourne, looks for Bongwe. Bongwe tries to drive, gives it out. No, he goes up, he fakes the pump fake, needs to go out. Shot clock violation. St. John's struggling. Michaelhouse doing well at the moment. This is that momentum shift. Your momentum starts with a small step, a smaller step, and then it starts evolving. And Michaelhouse have kept calm and let their momentum build every time. Makele with the ball, back to Sithole. Sithole to OELOFSTE. OELOFSTE decides to drive, tries to draw, charges one, doesn't get blown. KEEGAN goes up, gets the foul, and Michaelhouse a chance to make it an 8-point game.
KEEGAN has come alive here in the fourth, especially on the offensive end, and it is paying dividends. Activity off the rebound, he's getting touches, they're looking for him, and he's rewarding his team.
St. John's immediately trying to make some changes here. They know they need to make a change or two to pull a player off. Timeout call. So this is interesting. Here's your free throw stats. Michaelhouse, that was 4 earlier, jumped to 8 in just the last couple of minutes. 8 out of 21. St. John's, that 2 points difference is why there's a 6-point lead at the moment.
Those are not great percentages at all for either coach.
But it is a final, there's pressure. These things happen, Q. I mean, it's about carrying on and forward and not allowing it to affect your game. You can't drop your head.
Not at all. Psychology of the game, indeed. A look there at Anagu, who's been quiet yet effective. And on the other side, Cornele Kumalo, who's just off the floor after picking up an injury. Instrumental in Michaelhouse and their momentum turnaround.
Well, it's interesting because I think if Anagu didn't have the game he was having, I feel that this would have been a bit of a rout, hey? Because what he's not just done is he's not just won defensive rebounds, is he's kept KEEGAN quiet, who's a big scorer and already has been a big scorer, and he's completely shut them out. So Anagu, I feel, is keeping St. John's in it at the moment.
Well, he's come alive here in the fourth, so Anagu's got a lot more work to do, and this is when it counts a little bit more. Game clock pressure building as well.
There we go, Michaelhouse, 7-point lead. This momentum is just steamrolling for them at the moment. When last did St. John's put the ball in the bucket?
Field goal drought, indeed.
Anagu decides to try and change that. Clean by KEEGAN. That big man is so hard to get through. It is tough at the moment. KEEGAN being the big problem for St. John's to try and drive the basket.
Physically and literally a big problem in the paint, but he is proving a problem indeed.
And another defensive foul, meaning Michaelhouse will have another chance to stretch their lead. This looks like the final nails are getting put through the coffin by Michaelhouse. St. John's falling away. Their body, they don't know what to do to penetrate the zone of Michaelhouse.
Not ideal that they are in the penalty with so much time left on the game clock as well. Over 5 minutes left. It means every time St. John's commit a foul, Michaelhouse will go to the free throw line.
Ui, that's going to cause problems, eh? Makele needs to put this away, though. Good by DOMINIC. SUEUR doesn't walk away with it. KEEGAN goes up, soft touch. Kilbourne wins the rebound. looks for Nagu, finds him. Nagu finds Kilbourne. They need to put in a bucket. They need to make something happen, St. John's. Even if it's sinking a 3 to change the momentum. I'm very surprised they haven't gone for any threes lately, because driving is not working with a Coyote on such form. Kilbourne for space, almost gets it. Coyote defense.
The way they're running their zone offense right now, it's not exploiting the gaps in the zone.
That's better from St. John's. It should be a free, easy layup. Misses it, but it's fine. I don't think they'll get 2.
They got 2 on basket interference before the actual make, so credit 4 with the bucket again.
So they do get the 2. Very good. So 37-32. That's better from St. John's. Now they can shift. That's a bit of momentum their way. They need to keep it steamrolling though. They can't lose it. Shot clock winding down now for Michaelhouse. OELOFSTE looking for a way in. It's too many in front. Pump fakes the shot, goes up, doesn't get there. DOMINIC almost walks away. Bongwe, good counter, he needed to release that. Goes up and gets tapped out.
He did need to release that.
He had an open player.
Opted for the spin. It was a split second and then drew the foul.
That looked very clean to me over the ball by OELOFSTE. Or was it body contact or hand contact?
The reason he's contesting so hard is because he now picks up his 4th foul and is 1 away from being left out of this contest.
And there's still 4 minutes left on the clock, ladies and gentlemen, so there's still a lot of basketball to be played, even if it feels stilted. Bongwe goes up, misses it. No one is leaving the hall at the moment. The Wits Old Mutual Hall, everyone is enraptured by this game. It's a 5-point game. Bongwe almost gets it in. This time, another foul. I thought they would go the other way.
Every single time they commit a foul, what happens? Michaelhouse hit to the free throw line.
So there are too many team fouls. How do they get rid of this, Q?
They can't. They've just got to manage it. They've got to choose defense that is probably not going to result in them picking up a foul call every single time out, and their players have just got to let them go.
Every foul that St. John's makes, Michaelhouse goes through the free throw line.
Every single one of them.
This is a terrible penalty to get 5 points down, because Michaelhouse does not have a tendency of missing free throws. They've sunk more than St. John's at the moment, so why would you give them more chances?
They haven't had a great time at the free throw line, to be honest, but this is crunch time and anything can happen.
No foul, that's good. Bongwe looks up. He's got runners on the left. He finds a number 4. Nagu can go up. Too heavy. Coyote cleans up. It's 38-32. Now there's OELOFSTE gets another foul.
Unsportsmanlike is the call, so
will be technical.
2 and possession for Michaelhouse.
So St. John's is in a hole at the moment, and how do you get out of this, Q? Tell us, tell the viewers at home, how do you get out of this as St. John's?
Starts with the way they're breaking down the zone. You've got to get a couple of quality shots up and secure a defensive possession without committing a foul. That comes as an instruction from the coach. They really have to contest hard without committing a foul. Emphasis on shoot, hand in the air, stay on the ground if necessary, box out and rebound so that we can secure the ball if they miss.
Michaelhouse, I feel, in the next minute or so need to try put the coffin on this final. They can't let St. John's smell anything. It's a 7-point game at the moment. Draw a foul. Even if your percentages from the free throw line are bad. He draws, he tries to do that this time other way around. So it's an offensive foul going St. John's way.
Cornele Khumalo back in.
Oh, wow, look at that. After heading his ankle, Cornele Khumalo makes his way back onto the field. Let's see if that ankle holds up. There must be a hell of a lot of tape on him now. Finds Anagu. Anagu looks for Bongwe. Bongwe looking for Graham. Looking at Anagu. Spreads it back to Bongwe. There's no shot. Bongwe drive. Clock shot riding down. Graham does well. Does brilliantly. Good energy by Graham.
Love the use of his body. Set Coyote underneath the rim and created enough space for that hook shot.
OELOFSTE looking for Coyote. No foul blown. So it will be Michaelhouse ball.
A little bit of needle between Anagu and Coyote in the paint, and you expect that. It's finals.
It's good to see as well. OELOFSTE almost fumbles it, drops it on the line.
Did fumble
so
it.
St. John's gets their possession back. If they can get some free flow buckets, momentum building, it's only a 5-point game at the moment. I still haven't seen any threes from St. John's. Anaku looks Bongwe. Bongwe looks Naku. Anaku wants to drive, does exactly that. Clean by KEEGAN. Absolutely clean. No, foul called.
No foul called.
What's happened?
Possession, because put the shot up. Coyote got the last touch.
So just clean possession
so it
back
will stay with St. John's.
And Coyote, again, that's 2 in a row from Coyote. Had a bit of cheek showing on Naku. No, son, this isn't happening.
The two of them been going at it in the paint. They have a couple of words, choice words, and it's competition. In the spirit of competition, you like to see that. Another technical foul goes the way of St. John's. The free throw line, you look at those stats and you see how much Michaelhouse has left at the charity stripe.
Look, no coach will be happy with his stats. That's 11 from 30. That's less than half, less than 25. You know, it's almost 20, it's just over 20%. Everyone knows that no coach will be happy with those stats, but Michaelhouse will be happy with the fact that the way they're playing has allowed 30 to 31 free throws being thrown at the bucket, and that has been good, disciplined play, allowing the free throws.
That's correct.
We just go under the 3-minute mark at the moment, so this game getting real tight at the moment, not as tight as earlier, sorry. But Michaelhouse in control at the moment. Drive from Sitole, started by Nagu. Again, on defense, the man is a powerhouse. Unfortunately, Coyote is on D, shutting him out offensively. And without a Nagu, I'm not sure how St. John's penetrates this. A big three-pointer goes up, bang! That was superb with pressure.
Third time he's knocked it down from downtown. The little man playing big.
Player's name, but he has been superb. He needs to keep going. He's sunk 3 that we've seen. I think out of 4 attempts or 5 attempts. Why not give it? That turns it into a 2-point game. 1 position game. Don't cause the foul now. OELOFSTE has the space to go. He puts it away. He's not making a mistake. 4-point game. 2 minutes left. Now it's been a bit free-flowing. No fouls have happened. Bongwe to Kilborn. They need to find a shooter. Who's your shooter? But they're not going to give him the room. Finds a Nagu. They need to try to a run. Too much pressure. Kilborn draws 2. Now he needs to release. Gives it to Graham. Loses it to... Who's that? 14, 13. Kumalo. That's Kumalo. OELOFSTE comes in. Oh, that is superb. My heavens. High pressure under the basket. Brings it back beautifully.
Limited space on the baseline and able to create just off one dribble. And in a high pressure situation, you have to credit the player.
And told his mates back at school, call him JC. So JC being really important. I know there's still a lot of basketball to play. 43-7 for Michaelhouse. If you had to pick an MVP out of this side for Michaelhouse, who would you pick? Would it be Coyote, Sitole, Kumalo, or OELOFSTE?
I'm not sure that there's any one particular player that has stood out in a way. They've all played a role. And it'll be difficult to just say that there's one MVP for Michaelhouse. OELOFSTE in patches. Coyote has come on in and done some good work. Kumalo as well. So not one player. This has been a team effort, I think.
I tend to agree with you. And for me, all the teams that have been victorious so far have been one where it's almost impossible to pick a captain because it's been an absolute team effort. 4 of the 5 are scoring basket. 4 of the 5 are getting rebounds. Then it's 3, then it's 5. It's everyone pitching into doing their part. And it's been absolutely superb. Kumalo trying to draw the foul, doesn't do it. And I feel St. John's has been relying on Anagu too much. And then there's nothing he can do about it. Then when Anagu doesn't come right, what does St. John's do? They've done well to score 37 points, they have. But where they need to put in more at the moment. Remember as well, this is only a 6-point game. 1-3 changes this. We're a minute, last minute of the under-19 final, Q.
59 seconds, all that separates Michaelhouse from lifting the trophy. St. John's are going to want to say something about that.
They find their shooter. He gets a bit of space, gives it to Anaku, gives it out to Kilborn. Kilborn drives. That's the space he wanted. He goes for a big 3. He's been hot. Unfortunately not there. DOMINIC SUEUR clears up. Now it's still Kumalo. Kumalo drives. He goes up. Gets the end one, and he's going to get another shot. This is what Michaelhouse want to see. This is now a 8-point game with a chance to go tonight. A reminder that Khumalo's coming back after hurting his ankle.
That might be the straw that breaks the camel's back. That is superb. Khumalo coming back in, drawing the foul on Anagu, but most importantly, getting the 2. Free throw line has not been great for them. That field goal is crucial.
8 points seems like too much of a mountain to climb with 37 seconds. Khumalo misses the free throw, and Nagu looks up. This is what I'm talking about, where Temors has come on for St. John's. I feel it's too late. They're looking for a shooter. There's too much pressure. Decides to go up anyway. Bang! That is superb. We need to get this light his name.
4 3-pointers. Nothing but net, showing clean stroke.
And now
wow.
St. John's. But remember, any foul committed by St. John's, it will be a free throw. So St. John's, Michaelhouse can hang back. There's 22 seconds. If they get possession now, they can just sit and win this.
There's not too much that they can do. All St. John's can do is foul, which they've been doing all game, and then pick up possession, try and score quickly.
Try and get the rebound, but the problem is if OELOFSTE sticks this, the gap's too big again. He needs to try make it a 6-point game. He needs to try pull it away from 2 buckets, because the way St. John's has been hitting threes, they might pull it back in 2.
Whether it's a make or a miss, they've got to get a quick score on the other end.
That's it. So timeout's been called. Michaelhouse calls it. They know they need to reset. 6-point game, 22 seconds. I feel Michaelhouse should take this, but St. John's is not out. They sense it. They feel that they could be the heroes for their side, for their school, for their friends, for their family today.
Won't be surprised if Coach JAN-CLOETE runs a double screen for his shooter, number 4, to come off, find some space alone. It could be a dummy play, and they'll open up for another shooter, because all the emphasis will be on that man who's red hot from the perimeter. I would do something similar like that and just free it up for one of my shooters and have 2 rebounders placed underneath. See if we can't just get that quick bucket.
I feel it's too little too late, though. They should have been freeing up that shooter earlier, in my opinion.
Michaelhouse have not done a great job from the free throw line. There's still 22 seconds. There's a lot of time to commit fouls and a lot of time for them to try and pick up 1 or 2 quick scores. It's a 2 or 3 possession game depending on how they do on the defensive end and how many free throws Michaelhouse makes.
No, definitely. So, whose possession is this going to be?
St. John's.
St. John's, they're in a position to score a bucket. I definitely think they're going to be looking at a 3. Definitely think they're going to be looking at a 3. He's trying to find his shooter. That's what he's trying to do. They've put OELOFSTE on him to mark him. It goes to Temor. There's the screen. Bongwe looks for the shooter. Too much pressure. Looks for the shooter. He had a bit of room there if he went up immediately. Finds Anagu. Anagu finds Temor. Temor goes up. Is it good? It's going to come down. Coyote recovers. Time's kicking down. Take your time. Foul call.
Took too long on that possession. Shot should have gone up within the first 3 seconds and should have run the shooter into a position where he can catch and shoot.
Yeah, definitely. And I said he had a chance if he went straight up. 5 fouls called on a player, so he's going to have to go sit down. Not sure who it is.
That's the star shooter, number 4, who's going to be off the floor.
So there we go. The man who has no name, because St. John's doesn't give us all their players' names. And unfortunately, he sunk 4 3-pointers.
Oh.
Big 3-pointers. Number 14, Bongwe, is the man who has to leave for St. John's, committing 5 fouls. And Makele, number 11. No, that's 10. Sitole, Bonele Sitole.
As long as he continues to make free throws, Michaelhouse will secure the win.
100%. And he puts it in. That's an 8-point difference now. It's too much with 9 seconds left. What can they do? I feel Michaelhouse has won it. And I feel that because they've stuck to their structures, they should have won this game, and they did.
Well, we were treated to a really great final. Some great basketball from both these teams, but I think Michaelhouse, the deserved winners on the day. And they walk away champions of the weekend, led by their captain, JC OELOFSTE, but a lot of great team play in the final, and Michaelhouse are your St. John's Tournament 2020 champions.
I 100% agree. Congratulations to Michaelhouse, playing absolutely beautifully. Your end score, 48-40, and Michaelhouse deserving of that victory. It has been such good basketball, Q. 4 days here at Wits of the Witwatersrand. We have to thank St. John's for hosting what has been a superb tournament. Absolutely spectacular.
Not enough can be said. 56 teams over 4 days of basketball, 3 age groups, and 24 of them in the under-19. This is the king of the under-19 section. Michaelhouse came, saw, and conquered, and they beat the hosts on their home court, for lack of a better word. So they put in all the work, came away deserved winners, and their program will receive all the accolades it deserves.
St. John's doing really, really well to make it for the first time in 8 years. This tells us the story from iSport Analysis, showing us our statistics. The 2-pointers, 14 to 11. 2 to the 4 3-pointers. That's the only positive to St. John's in this game. And I mean, what the free throws, 14 from 36, that is atrocious, but it still helped with the victory. 6 from 23, Q.
A key stat, those 9 blocks, I can tell you that almost 7 of them came from Coyote alone, and his presence in the paint adds to the low shot efficiency from St. John's. The total fouls matters not, because they all suffered and struggled from that free throw line.
Michaelhouse with absolute bragging rights. What's interesting is the total fouls, 29 to 20 at half-time. Remember that St. John's had less fouls than Michaelhouse and completely swapped around, and that hurt them. It didn't allow St. John's to get back into the game because of all the free throws that were then given to Michaelhouse. But Q, I don't think there's much more we can say about what has been an absolutely spectacular day and 4 days of basketball. What do you think, sir?
I think you've summed it up well. It's been a deserved showcase of international and South African basketball. Long may this tournament continue to grow and flourish, and I think it's been what they call an absolute pleasure to be covering this, to be a part of it, and St. John's have put on a very special show this year.
Thank you very much, Mr. Quinton Denason, and don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. There's still the prize giving and some interviews that will be happening with some key players. My name is Adam Zawada, and Quinton said it once, he'll say it again. It has been an absolute pleasure. Don't go anywhere. Have a great day for now.
That this has been the most amazing tournament. And on behalf of St. John's, I want to just thank you all so much for all that you have contributed to making this St. John's basketball tournament the tournament that it was. I'd like to thank our sponsors. Our sponsors of Mnandi Corner, Gogo Shuttles, La Bocaria, Artistic Intelligence Dance Academy, and Shesha Hoops Lounge brand. Thank you so much for your support of this wonderful tournament. I'd like to thank our venue hosts, to Wits, who have given us these two incredible basketball halls. Thank you, Wits. And then to Sacred Hearts and Wembley Stadium. Thank you again for hosting this impressive tournament. Thank you. And then no tournament can ever be completed with outstanding officials. And I would like to thank the tech table officials. Thank you for all the hard work that goes on behind the scenes. To our referees, who were absolutely outstanding throughout the tournament. Can we give our referees an incredible round of applause? Thank you, referees. And on a personal note, I'd like to just say how impressive it was to have 3 outstanding female referees doing the final. Salute to you. What a wonderful exhibition of refereeing. Thank you. Then to the medical staff, to the film crews, to the photographers, thank you so much for all that you've done. And if I can thank the St. John's staff, the estate staff, the kitchen staff, the boarding staff, the security staff, thank you. To the prep and college coaches who formed the organizing committee, thank you for all that you've done to organize and run this tournament. To the St. John Parents Committee, thank you for your hard work, for everything you've done to make sure this tournament runs smoothly. And then to our Director of Basketball, to Ngoza Mataria, thank you so much for all you've done to make this incredible. A round of applause for Ngoza. And lastly from me, to all the parents, families and supporters who have traveled to support your teams, thank you so much for the passion you have brought to this tournament. To all the coaches, thank you for the huge time and investment you've made into every single one of your teams, to every single one of your players. It has been outstanding to watch your passion for your teams throughout this tournament. And then we are privileged that 12 of the teams represented here are international teams. We thank you from the bottom of our hearts. Thank you for supporting St. John's. Thank you for traveling here to be part of this team and to make this a wonderfully international celebration of basketball. And then lastly, and certainly not least, to the incredible players that have showcased your talent, your passion for basketball. Thank you for bringing the game alive over these past few days. We congratulate you and thank you so much.
Thank you. Now we get back into work. So we first of all going to announce the under 15s. Third position, SUEUR Academy, to please come forward.
Hold both mics.
Are you collecting from? No, middle. It was a great semi-finals. SUEUR Academy versus Highfield. To a great entertainment game this morning. To a great Then our runner-up for under 15 section goes to Highfield all the way from Cape Town. Let's give a round of applause for them. So the first great game against Lesotho, who ended up coming ahead of Heidelberg to take the championship for 2020. So now announcing, ladies and gentlemen, welcome your 2020 champions, Lesotho Forest from Swaziland. Forest. Are they fine standing? Oh, they should stand. No, not now. So they must stand in front. Yeah, they find where they are. Oh, they're on the white line. Okay. So let's step on the white line. White line here. Can I please have the captain of the team, the captain of Lesotho Forest, come receive the trophy, and there's a whole presentation for them. Yeah, no, yeah. Let's go. There's the champions of 2020, St. John's Basketball Under 15. Lesotho Forest from Swaziland. Now we'll move to the All-Star team. The All-Star team, the All-Star team under 15 side of the tournament. From St. Charles, we got the number 4, Benson from St. Charles. Benson from St. Charles, number 4. We got the second All-Star from SUEUR Academy, number 5, Mane. And the third All-Star goes to Heidelberg, number 14, Dantu, number 14, from Heidelberg. Then the fourth All-Star from Lesotho Forest, number 6, Miracle. Then our finals MVP goes to number 14, Manzoni from Lesotho Forest. Thank you. That is the All-Star team for the Under 15 section. Next up is the Under 13s. So this year we had an interesting finals where we had Sacred Heart, the defending champions, going against St. Peter's, It was the first appearance this year, and it was a battle for the championship. It was an interesting game. Highbury also competed. It was a good game. So we start with the third position, all the way from Cape Town, from Durban. Highbury, let's go. Highbury from Durban. It was a good game against Michael Mount. Highbury versus Michael Mount for the third position. The under-13 has shown great talent this weekend. Great basketball from the under-13s. And there's an interesting thing that happened in the finals of the under-13s where the defending champions lost by 1 point. It was actually supposed to be a 3, but we ended up finding out it's a 2. And they lost by 1 point. And that goes to the defending champion from last year, from Sacred Heart College, from Johannesburg. What a great game. What a great entertaining game. It was a great game, great coaching. The game kept going back and forth. Great game from Sacred Heart College, the 2019 champion who came the runner-up for 2020. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I welcome to you your first-time champion from St. Peter's College, the under-13 2020 champion, St. Peter's Preparatory. Let's go, guys. Your 2020 champion. Great talented kids. And afterwards, can I have the captain come receive the trophy? Can I have the captain of St. Peter's come receive the trophy from our headmaster? And can I have the champions of 2020 St. John's basketball tournament, St. Peter's Prep? Great job, guys, great job. Now we go to the under-19s. So apparently I was being told that I'm moving too fast, that I need to announce the All-Star. The All-Star is in my hands for the under-13s. The first All-Star for under 13 goes to number 4 from Highbury Prep. Number 4 from Highbury Prep, Nkizi. Nkizi from Highbury Prep, number 4. The second All-Star goes to Michael Mount, number 4. Michael Mount, number 4. I'll mess there if I'm pronouncing it right. I don't want to pronounce it wrong. Michael Mount, number 4. The third All-Star goes to Sacred Heart, number 30, Motang. The fourth All-Star goes to number 13, from St. Peter's, Sitole. And the finals MVP for the under 13 section goes to number 11 from St. Peter's. These are great team where the whole team knows the All-Star and the MVP. Congratulations to the All-Star and the MVP of under 13. Thank you. Thank you.
Please announce our results for our t-shirt, the final t-shirt and the caps. Yeah, please.
Third position, second, and first. Guys, first, second. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Now we move to the under 19s section of the tournament. It has been a great tournament this year. A lot of dramas, a lot of basketball. The least expected were the ones that were in the finals. People never counted the guys that were in the finals. People thought the defending champion from Saints were going to be in the finals. But guys, on the under 19 section, we start with third position going to St. Stephen's, the 2019 defending champion. The third position this year. Great job to the coaches and the players.
1 in 5 years, huh? It's the first time in 5 years.
Great job to Saints, the defending champions from 2019 and 2018. Congratulations to Saints, taking the third position in under 19 boys. Let's give them a round of applause. Now going to the second place. The second place, making the second appearance since the beginning of the St. John's basketball tournament since 2007. We welcome the home team, the host, St. John's College, who took the second place. They showed great heart in this tournament. Great job to St. John's basketball under 19 team and the coaching staff for putting such a great competition in this tournament. This is my full-time job now. Congratulations to St. John's for taking the second place in the 2020 St. John's basketball tournament. It was a great final against Michaelhouse. Great job to the St. John's under 19 team.
To the great finals. U19 our first thank you all our sponsors who made this possible. Thank you Super Live who was streaming this game live. Thank you Johannesburg. Say